The warm and dry, super thick insulation does two things. It protects, as you just referred to, from backfill, the dirt or rocks scratching the waterproofing. The other thing is also acts as an additional water channel in case you do have extreme water, besides grading issues that you should do in the site design. If you do have any kind of water penetration, it's also an additional drain to go right down to the footing, the French drain and perimeter drain around the footings. So it's an extra benefit. Not only the protection, the water protection, you have one layer of water channeling away. Well, of course, there's a lot of little subtle details. For example, all the bulbs in here where we could that were not dimmable, we used the standard new compact fluorescence. All the appliances are Energy Star rated, mainly refrigerator. The windows, of course, were really important. Even choosing the door. If you see the front door, we have a decorative cosmetic door, which is important to a lot of people, but it's thermally insulated window glass. So rather than have a full glass, we had a half glass with a nice decoration, but still high grade. There's another little subtle thing I didn't point out. If you look out on the view for mountain homes and leisure kind of homes is very important to clients. And so if you really study the window pattern, you see here, if you really look at the two main windows, they're actually fixed windows, which generally have less infiltration and more cost effective. And again, the low maintenance aluminum clad exterior, which is a sustainable issue. But more importantly, they're very cost effective windows, whereas in other cases we use the ventilating. In the master bedroom particularly, I use what I call a triple window combination because we have to deal with the structure where the trusses land. And I use a fixed in the middle and two venting on the side. So you get a view, you get a nice trade-off between having a reasonable amount of glass that's high quality, and then you still get the venting. So there's a lot of little subtle things like that we did, I think, that are important. You wouldn't normally notice if you just casually walk through a house. You see all the pilasters on the foundation I did. You see the external two layers of the warm and dry. And you can see, of course, the waterproofing. But look, we started around March 1st, three of us, and on about the 17th, 18th, we were putting up the timber trusses. In between, you can see the, of course, the engineered floor trusses, the decking, and the panelized units going up. And you can see just how many days that, just three guys with the panelized units. And if you look real careful here, you can see the trailer, the 20-foot trailer with the 20-foot and 16-foot wall modules. For example, this is a 16-footer. The two great rooms are 20-footers and 16. So of approximately 170 perimeter square feet, we already had 104 pre-framed and built. And not only that, we had the Tyvek on it before then, so we lifted, so the application was pretty easy. A couple other subtle little things. You notice when we're building up the roof panels here, you can see the roof sections with the perimeter blocking on it. And then, of course, one other little subtle thing. You see the Tyvek around here before the external sheathing? We did ice and water shield, which now there are several different products for window sealing. It's an additional step. We used the scraps of it, 3 and 4 inch wide, to totally seal the windows. There are some good products out there now that are pre-made. I think Tyvek makes one that matches. But it's an excellent application of that to get a real tight seal. Okay, well, the Hardy cement product, of course, is very sustainable. It's not going to rot. It also is primed. But what we chose to do cosmetically was a trade-off. Rather than using just the lap siding, we used the sheets. Now, this is a small section, but we used the 10-foot sheets, 4x10s due to the size. So that means we had less joints. Obviously, it was important for infiltration. And for trim, we use MirrorTech. And if you casually look at it, you'll see that the wood grain gives you more of a country casual look, but it still is sustainable. And yet, the trim, which is a different product, again, a sustainable, non-rotting kind of product, has a very similar look. So the combination of that trim on the solid sheets left less joints, less places for air infiltration. We used Evergreen, which is similar to Trex decking. Again, it's a lifetime kind of product again. We use that on the entire decking, both front and rear porches. We chose it because we thought the wood grain was a little more fitting up here, and the gray color was it doesn't change as dramatically from its original color. It does change, but it gives a softer gray. Again, you won't have to paint or maintain this. We wanted a total electric house on this particular project. So we thought it was important to have a backup heat because you have conditions. We occasionally get snowed in up here in the mountains. It's one of the requirements. So this stove, which meets the R2000 Canadian, is very well sealed. You can see the high grade door. Also, it does extra heating. It has the extra air chamber that's to the room, but not to the outside nor to the combustion. And as you saw outside, we have the external air feed coming from the outside right to the stove. So under the Energy Star test, if we had not done this, even with all insulating and proper around the fireplace, the leak on the average fireplace stove slash insert is always a problem. So the R2000 Canadian standards are much stiffer. And so they tend to offer products. Again, it was a premium cost, but we thought it was a key component. The hot water heater is a Marathon, actually sold by the local utility. We're on a EMC up here in the mountains. And they have a pretty active energy program with Energy Tech, and a few select products like this they use. The Marathon is probably one of the highest rated as far as lifetime. It's a plastic tank. It won't go on you. There's like a 10-year rating on at least the heating elements, but you won't have the typical 8-year cycle of the water heater tank going on you. It's a double wall, and between the walls, super high grade foam insulation, another family, so it's very high R factor. So in that case, you're not going to have the normal energy loss that you would with a typical water heater with an average insulation. So we got both the maintenance and the high insulation values out of an electric water heater. The whole point of this exercise for this model home was to show that with a reasonable increase in cost of the actual cost of the structure, you could do a high quality, low energy, low maintenance house, and over a period of life cycle, you would come out even, essentially, particularly in even in the 5 to 10 year cycle, life cycle of a house. And that was the whole point of this Energy Star model.